Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Strixhaven and how special Strixhaven is as its position within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and frankly, its position within Dungeons & Dragons overall. So Strixhaven is a really special book, and I just wanted to explain to you one of the things that's becoming evident to me as I make my way through Strixhaven, and I'm preparing to run Strixhaven for my player base. And and basically, one of the things I'm seeing is, I'm reading through this book, and I'm actually rereading multiple sections now. And one of the things that's really amazing is Strixhaven is in our Arcavios, okay? And it is a wizard school. So everyone there is a wizard. So there's a lot of gold there, and there's a lot of power there, and there are a lot of books there. And one of the things that's become very evident to me is that Strixhaven serves as kind of in Marvel you have those hovering shield platforms, right? And essentially they hover above the ground. They can go over cities, like these like battle cruisers that kind of just shield cruisers, right? That kind of hover over the ground and they look down on the rest of the world, and they can bring force to bear, and they can view, and they can launch out, strike forces and all these kind of things. One of the things I really realized is Strixhaven is truly one of the most powerful worlds in Dungeons & Dragons. And one of the reasons why is they have this massive biblioplex, and they are in a position, especially with all these wizards, right? Because they have dimensional, they have dimension door, and they have gate, right? And it comes from a planeswalker world, right? This is a Magic the Gathering planeswalker setting that has been made official canon within Dungeons & Dragons. And so what you have is, when your players are going through as students of Strixhaven, they can monitor and watch every other Dungeons & Dragons world, right? So they can, so basically you can have a professor say, this is Faerun, this is Eberron, this is the Spelljammer world, this is Iberius, and this is, from the Birthright world, and this is Dark Sun, and basically say, we are aware of all these other worlds, but they're not aware of us, right? So we are this super dope, wizards college, and we're going to teach you how to be a powerful wizard, and then we can launch you out. We can launch you out to Eberron, we can launch you out to Faerun. You can spend time in any or all of them, right? And so Strixhaven characters are much more powerful and much more knowledgeable of the metaverse than any of the other, Faerun people are like, oh, we're here in Faerun, and maybe there's some other place, right? But, but essentially a Strixhaven student can be fully aware of Eberron, they can be fully aware of Faerun, they can be fully aware of Ravnica, they can be fully aware of Theros, they can be aware of Wildmount, Exandria, so, and basically, because you're coming from Strixhaven, which has this incredibly robust and powerful biblioplex, you can have a character who can choose, you can go through your 10 levels, right? You get 10 levels through going through the 4-year adventure that is in Strixhaven, and then you can launch out wherever you want. You can pick, right? And before Strixhaven, this was not possible, because Dungeons & Dragons Strixhaven before Strixhaven was simple mode, right? It was like, hey, let's do a lot of combat and pretend that there's no complexity in exploration or social interaction, right? And now we are graduating to the full mature game that master dungeon masters, that true dungeon masters, right? Not dungeon gooders, not, I want to, make a fun game for 4 people at my table, and that's the limit of what I can accomplish, right? But true dungeon masters, right? People who resonate on the frequency that Gary Gygax resonated, right? And saying, let's step it up, right? Let's go to the next level. Let's not be frightened and stay in our own old, nostalgic, unchanging 1980s amber, right? Let's move forward. Gary always moved forward, right? And that's what we're called to do. And Strixhaven is the true move forward for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It allows you to have a character who is a world chooser, right? They don't end up wherever the dungeon master tells them. You can take, 4 or 5 players, take them through Strixhaven and say, where are you going? Where? Right? You tell me. Are you going to Eberron? Are you going to Faerun? Are you going to Ravnica? Are you going to Theros? Are you going to the Birthright World? Are you going to Planescape? Are you going to Spelljammer? Strixhaven has prepared you for any and all of it. It's all yours. The multiverse, like Strixhaven, is a launch pad for the multiverse, right? And the reason why it's so special is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, unlike any other old version, 1 through 4, is not stuck. It's not stagnant. It's not frozen, right? And unlike D&D not games, copies of D&D 1E and 2E, it has true innovation, and it's not afraid of innovation, and it's not afraid of accepting that we live in 2022 rather than pretending we live in 1984. Strixhaven is a launching pad for the multiverse. So to really understand what's happening and again, this is why you got so many bad reviews for Strixhaven, right? And also why XP3 had to come back and say, oh, I get Strixhaven now, right? It's a piece of art where when you first, I saw it today, it was like months before it arrived, I'm like, Strixhaven's going to be like a comet, right? And of course it did. But overall, people who are still stuck in, wanting to stay in that myopic combat focus, stay in that myopic 1984 amber zone, right? They're never gonna be able to understand. Well, hopefully, I hope they can understand Strixhaven. But right now, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you understand now that we've discussed it, how Strixhaven is really a launching pad for the multiverse and makes the multiverse that Wizards of the Coast has been talking about a reality and a real choice for real players and real DMs? Love to hear your thought. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.